Nerd is new sexy.
Hello, everybody out there in Nerdland. Welcome to a very special edition. Halloween!
Halloween!
Fuck yeah, Halloween. All right. Now, with me, as always, well, you know who I am. I'm Sunrie. Right? With me, as always, is...
Wyldfyre1. Blood, bring me your blood, blah, blah.
Freaking love Halloween.
Best day of the year.
Oh yeah, Halloween is just awesome. I love everything about the Halloween, the candy, the dressing up, the slutty costumes, and the not so slutty costumes, and just the whole, it's the one time a year that I'm allowed to be scared and let myself get scared.
Or be whoever the fuck you want to be. You can be Batman if you want.
Well, you can be Batman the rest of the time. It's just you might end up in a mental health hole.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the one day you can be who the fuck you want to be and not end up in a white straitjacket.
That's true. Or you could be in a white straitjacket for Halloween.
Yes.
See, it always ends up coming full circle anyway. So obviously today we're going to be talking about Halloween. Now, I know what you're thinking, but isn't Halloween in like a week? Yes. And that's why we're doing it now, because the podcast come out on Sunday.
Yeah, and possibly we'll be doing stuff for Halloween. So fuck you.
That's right. Now, the cool thing is we're not going to just talk about scary stuff for Halloween. We're going to talk about just kind of like Halloween in general, kind of like when you talk about Comic-Con. You don't just talk about the comics.
Talk about the sweaty nerds.
Yeah, the smell of ass and taco meat. It all kind of goes hand in hand.
And vagina.
Oh, of course.
There's vagina there. Lots of vagina.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm going to go ahead and bring up one of my favorite things that's coming out on Halloween Day. On Stars. Sometimes during that day, a little show called Ash versus the Evil Dead will be out.
That's right. Watch that on Stars, not baseball. Fuck the jocks.
I don't care. You watch baseball, watch baseball. You're just going to miss out. But Ash versus the Evil Dead is pretty much, I don't want to say it's a continuation, but it's...
I think it is. I think it is a continuation. It comes on, it happens after Army of Darkness.
It happens after long after Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
And it, of course, if you're a Bruce Campbell fan, you're going to want to watch this.
Yeah, I mean, hell, if you're just Evil Dead fans or Army of Darkness fans, you got to watch it.
Yeah, the Evil Dead series, a lot of people nerd out on that. That is well worth a watch. It's on Stars. I don't know what time I'm recording it. Actually, I'm having someone else record it for me because I'm poor and I can't afford Stars.
You don't got DVR or Stars.
Yeah, so I will watch it one way or another, even if I have to murder people.
Yeah, I'll probably try to grab it off Hulu or something.
Yeah, so definitely check that out if you get the chance. A little bit of background for us on Halloween. Ever since our high school days, we used to put together a little a haunted front yard kind of thing.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And actually, I think you and I, you and I actually met doing the haunted house for the high school.
Yes.
And then we started hanging out more during when South Pacific and everything like that came around, and we were in that musical.
Plays drama nerds.
Plays drama.
So what we used to do is we'd put the front, we'd basically, first time we did it, we did the generic, fake tombstones and fake spider webs and dress up and whatnot, and that was great. Well, as it progressed, we stopped doing it about, I don't know, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And the only reason we stopped doing it is because, I don't know,
everybody kind of moved around.
Yeah.
We didn't really have a good place to do it anymore.
Yeah, people don't trick-or-treat here as much, fucking assholes. Take your children trick-or-treating. You're ruining a chance to give them the fun that you had when you were their age. Take your children trick-or-treating.
Yeah, the problem is here in Colorado, most of the time it's snowing on Halloween, so most of the time people just go to the mall, but we do have the 13th floor, world famous haunted house.
13th floor.
Oh yeah,
I've heard of that.
Oh, it's pretty awesome. I'm trying to get my wife to go with me.
We have Hobbs Grove.
That Hobbs Grove was pretty cool.
It's pretty fun, yeah.
It was fun.
Here in Central California. But anyway, long story short, we actually put quite a bit of money in the little front yard haunts we used to do.
Yeah, the first quote-unquote special effect thing we got was a strobe light.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, those are first.
You got to have a strobe. Actually, no. Well, yeah, that was the
That
first
was
one
the
that we
first
added
one.
because we had like the spooky sound tapes, and your Sophisto,
Yeah.
Wild's father, he actually recorded himself a couple of times making like just this really weird voice telling people to come and get their candy. If it wasn't Halloween, you would be issuing an Amber Alert.
It wasn't that bad, but it was.
Well, hey, some guy puts a speaker system in his window telling little kids to come get candy at their house.
I think
Yeah.
in any case, not just Sophisto. It'd be an
Yeah, that's
influence
true.
case, but yeah. Come to the door, get the candy. We won't hurt you.
Come
much.
get your candy.
Yeah. So we'd make our own like sound, our own little like Halloween soundtracks. Well, long story short, we ended up setting up the front yard to where lights would react with sound, and we put about $3,000 into the stuff in the long.
Yeah, we got smoke machines. We put up tarps so people would have to go a specific way. We would tape off the front yard. You would basically have to go through a mini haunted house just to get to the candy.
And those made it.
Yeah, and most people made it. Now, what was really cool is we actually became kind of known in the small town that we grew up in that you go here to get the candy because these people put in all the time and effort into it. And we would have people from the high school and everything like that show up just to kind of check everything out.
People that are out of like town that had just come to see us that like
town over.
That would even like towns as far as like
Fresno and stuff.
Fresno, yeah.
Oh jeez.
They would come.
Oh yeah.
Take photos with us and stuff like that. And it wasn't as long as a haunted forest or nothing, but it was definitely about as fun.
Yeah, we got pretty much all of the scares. We got the weak in the knees. We got one lady. My favorite was I was dressed completely in black, kind of like a wraith, and they're walking up. And our rules were if someone said, "Can I please just get the candy?" we would allow them to get the candy, and no little kids.
Yeah, anyone under like 6, we wouldn't scare.
Yeah,
the house is scary enough.
Yeah, unless they wanted to do that, and they were like, no, I want to go, it's scary, let me go. If we heard them saying, then we would give them the full treatment.
Well, sometimes parents would be like, just scare the shit out of my little bastard child.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
So this lady comes up, and I don't know exactly how old this kid was, but they come walking up, and I'm standing in the dark, and they walk right past me, so I start walking behind her, and I'm in soft-soled shoes, so nobody can hear me. They get up there and handing out the candy, and I look up, and I see I see your mom giving out the candy, basically.
Yeah, I think she was dressed as a witch in the rocking chair I used to have.
Yep. And so I get right behind this lady, and I'm just standing there, and out of the little vents on my face mask, I just go. She stops, turns around, sees me, screams, jumps over the fence that we have in the front yard, past all the tombstones, and out into the street halfway down the block. Her little kid is standing next to me. He looks up at me, reaches in his bag, and holds up a piece of candy like, "Will you be my friend?"
That was adorable.
I was cracking up.
The mom freaked the fuck out.
Yeah, she just took off without her kid. I just remember someone, and I don't know if it was you or Max, going, "Hey, you forgot something."
Yeah, it was me. Yeah. Like, you forgot your kid, lady.
Yeah, because Maximus was with us that year, too.
Yeah. So. Yeah. There was one in particular. This was back in high school. There was one in particular that we did that was fun as hell. And this year that was the first time we did it. We had hay bales and stuff. I'm sure you remember this.
Yep.
Well, we had a I want to say it was Turd Boy.
I think it was Turd Boy.
He was in the tree. He climbed the tree, and this lady with a stroller. I want to say the kid was maybe about 2-3 years old. And at this point, we didn't have all our rules set. This is our first time doing it. She's pulling the stroller up through the fence to the house, to the door, and all of a sudden, Turd Boy jumps out of the tree screaming like a fucking madman.
Yeah, I just remember hearing, "Rah!"
She was Hispanic. She goes, "Adios mío!" and then runs, leaving her fucking child in the stroller fucking behind. And
Don't worry, we sacrificed it to a top tier dark god.
Cthulhu.
Yeah, Cthulhu.
It sacrificed. So it went to a good cause. Yeah. We had to like pretty much wave her back, saying it's okay. See, we're wearing masks. Yeah, tell an adult that before she can go back and get her kid. Yeah, but she left her fucking newborn child in the fucking yard, like to sacrifice it so she could survive.
Yeah,
that's how she went. Adios mío. Just cracked me up.
Yeah, the Whopper went running away, leaving a chicken nugget behind.
Hilarious.
Yeah, the only thing that I didn't never saw when we were doing it was we never got anybody to throw up.
No, but we've gotten people to run pretty a bit.
And we've had people drop to their knees, like actual jocks that we knew at the high school and stuff like that. You know, and people who knew who we were, that we were cool with. To clarify that we always make fun of the jocks and stuff like that. We actually knew a lot of jocks. Wild was actually in wrestling.
I was kind of a jock nerd.
Yeah, he was kind of the jock nerd, so we knew a lot of those guys. And honestly, most of them were cool. And most of them, when they found out who I was and what I was doing, left me alone because they knew they were going to get their ass whooped.
Nerd!
So, you know, they would show up and, like, we would scare them and they would, like, go weak in the knees and we're just, like, laughing our ass off at them. Like, that was good, man. That was good, man. It's like, damn right, that was good.
It was good times. And then there was as it progressed, like, towards the last few years that we did it, we ended up getting booze.
Yep.
We'd have booze. Now, mixing booze with scaring kids can be a really funny
It
mixture.
is pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, at that point, we had black lights, strobe lights, fog machines.
All the money was in there.
I mean, oh my God.
We had like 4 fog machines. We had several lights. The whole front yard was covered with lights. We had all sorts of different props. Animatronics. Zombies would come out of fucking...
Yeah, things that look like they come out of the ground and jump up behind tombstones.
We still got that shit. It's just all like packed away.
Oh, it's so much fun.
Anyway, this particular story is every so often you get your... If you've done this stuff before, you'll know you'll get your heckler.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they're the most chicken shit of all. They won't go in, and they'll try and tell people... This particular heckler was trying to tell people going in, that person's real, that person's not real, don't be careful with that. You know, basically trying to ruin the fun.
Yeah.
And at this point, I've had a few drinks of Everclear, because we ordered the Everclear for that year.
Making 5150s.
The 5150s, yep. Yeah. By that point, I was intoxicated. I wasn't super drunk. I was buzzed.
All right. Just to give everyone an understanding, just before we did everything for the Halloween, we got everything set up. We got wasted, went to go see Saw 3, drunk off our ass, nearly got thrown out of the theater, then continued to walk back to...
No, that's a different story.
Place.
That was my place. We didn't even do the...
we had to
put it away at my place. I'm talking about it.
You're talking about over at Max's. Okay, yeah. This is the year after.
We'll tell the Saw 3 story soon.
Yeah.
I'm glad you remembered that, because I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, I drunkenly remember that.
Well, anyway, we're drunk as shit, and there's a kid haggling and, basically just ruin it. So I decide I'm gonna fuck with this kid. I'm staying in character. I'm shambling like a zombie towards him, and he's moving backwards. And he's like, well, you're not scary? You're not scary? I'm like, where are you going? And he's like, you're not scary? And then I go from shambling to a dead sprint. Kid's gone. Gone. like just a streak of child just gone.
Yeah. And Wild, you're like what? Oh, you're like right around 6 foot, aren't you?
I'm about 6'1".
Yeah. So you got to imagine this guy kind of like shambling towards him, and then all of a sudden, just from like hobble walk to a dead fucking run. It's scary. That's scary shit.
He took off like a bat out of hell, dude. Like, I wasn't even trying. I was keeping up with him at one point, but I was just like, fuck this. I got what I wanted. He's gone. So it was funny as hell. But okay, we'll go to the Saw story. This was several years before that. This story I was telling. We actually when we saw Saw 2, I think. It was Saw 2 when we went and saw Saw 2. It was a few days prior because you were there for a week.
Yep. Yeah, because we got everything set up.
Yeah.
And we were shambling over there.
This is the first time I was going to do Halloween. I just moved into the house I'm in now, and we're going to break in a new place for the Halloween. Well, long story short on that, no one was trick or treating here. No one trick or treated at all. They went somewhere else. So we were like, fuck it. We put everything away and did something else. But I'll get to that in a minute. A few days prior, we went to see Saw 2.
Wasted.
We came to my house and all of us got drunk. There was about 6 of us.
There was at least that.
Yeah, it was about
because I think P-Rock was there.
No, P-Rock wasn't.
No, he came. Well, he came a few days later.
Yeah, but he wasn't there.
Remember, I made that joke about.
No, it was you, me, Maximus. One of the same guy that had the same name as Turd Boy. That.
Oh yes,
that I used to work with. Yeah. Another guy that had the same name as Maximus, and a few other people that were hilarious. Well, and a couple
of
Mud.
Those chicks.
And Mud.
Oh yeah, Mud.
So, and Mud was probably the highlight of the night.
Oh my God.
So we go in. We're pretty happy. We're pretty drunk. Yeah. We go in. We get, stupidly enough, the front row seats of this fucking movie theater.
And because remember everyone was telling me, because everyone was like going, God, stop hitting on all the chicks, everything like that. Because like I was like out, like they were all like coming to me.
So it was stadium seating. We're sitting in the fucking front row, and we're drunk, and it's just now that in retrospect, it was just a bad idea.
This was a very bad
We're lucky
idea.
we did not get arrested.
Actually, yeah. We were real close.
At one point before the movie started, like the credits came on, Mud, and I'll refer to him as Mud, a good friend of ours, big tall dude, about my size and height and such, gets up, runs in front of the. Well, actually, I take it back. I'll backtrack a bit. Yeah. He got up and walked around to different movie theaters because he was drunk. Yeah. Then came back because the movie started, climbed over like 3 seats in front of us, making people in front of us uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Sat next to us for about 5 minutes, and then the credits came on, stood up again, ran up to the front of the fucking screen, ran from one side of the movie theater in front of the screen to the other side by the exit sign, looked at everyone, realized like what he was doing, looked at everyone like a deer in the headlights, and then ran out. Ran out the exit for no fucking reason.
Yeah, just slammed the exit, entire body weight against the door.
And then like after that, we just didn't see him for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
So we watched the movie.
We actually thought he got arrested.
We thought he got arrested because there was cops outside when we walked out.
We're like, oh shit.
But Bud's
in jail.
It turns out he was okay. He ended up going home and passing out. But anyway, though throughout the whole movie, we were probably those noisy, annoying people that watch a movie that you.
That was us.
Hate. That was us.
Yeah, we were told to shut the fuck up plenty of times. I had a light shined in my face and told me you gotta be quiet down. I'm like, chill out.
People I'm like, yourself, motherfucker.
Yeah.
This person's gonna die.
Yeah. Now we tell you that story to lead into this next one because the same group of people.
Well, it was on if you're talking about Halloween Day, it was just you, me, Mud, and Mac.
Yeah.
It wasn't all of us, but yeah, go on.
And everything, and so we're trying to get Halloween everything together. Nobody's really showing up in this neighborhood because nobody in this neighborhood really trick or treated at the time. So like, oh shit. So like, oh fine, everybody kind of goes their ways, and it's me, Wild, Max, and Mud. We decide that screw it, let's not waste the night. Let's go drive around. We've got an air horn.
Yeah. Well, first we put away all the stuff, of course.
Yeah, we put everything away, and so we start driving around. Now at this point, we're not drunk.
No, we're sober at this point.
Yeah,
definitely not driving drunk. We do not drive drunk on Halloween, people.
That's right. It's scary enough out there to have to worry about drunk drivers. So we're driving. So we start driving around, and we start blowing the air horn at people as we're creeping down the road with no headlights on and stuff like that, scaring the crap out of people. And we're screaming out the window as we're going by, just going. Wah!
I literally sang Trogdor.
Yeah,
out the
screaming
window.
Trogdor.
Yeah. So I was drunk.
Well,
so I wasn't drunk. I was sober. I take it back. I keep saying drunk, but I think I was drunk on life.
Yeah. So we're sitting in the car. I've got my mask on, so no one can know who I am. Not that because a lot of people still remember me when I go back. So I'm completely covered up. I don't want anybody ID me because I want to get back home safely without anybody fingering me. Though I'm sure they probably would have figured out who it was. And so all of a sudden, reach out and I blow the air horn, and all of a sudden I hear Wild go, "Oh shit!" Followed by bam.
Because we were in Mud's truck behind you.
We were in Mud's truck, yeah.
You were with Max.
That was Max.
Yeah. And
all of a sudden I hear you scream, "Oh!" from where you were. A car behind me. Oh shit! He's like, boom! Followed by shattering glass. We're like
a truck mounted in El Camino.
Yeah. We're like, we got to get the fuck out of here.
They heard the air horn. I kind of feel bad about this too, but at the same time, it's still it's fucked up, but it's funny, I guess. And this could very well be a fictitious story, so you can't bust us on this.
That's right. We're like, oh shit, we gotta fucking get the hell out of here. So we end up going back to Max's place on the way.
That's where the drinking began.
Yeah, that's where the drinking began. And on the way, people were skateboarding around, so we're blowing the horn. They start screaming at us and chasing after us.
There's the dude on the bike, and I think I screamed the try. I just was like, Trogdor!
He jumped off his bike, and the bike kept going.
So we were prepared to get scares that night one way or another.
Yeah.
We just didn't get it the way we wanted to. We just scared the shit out of people in the car, which was great.
Yeah, so it was fun. Like I said, we love Halloween. I always dress up when I'm allowed. If I'm not working and stuff like that, I'll dress up. And if work goes, hey, you can dress up today, I go, fuck yeah, I'm dressing up. So
yeah. So let's talk about scary movies.
Scary movies.
What's a good scary movie to watch? What's a good scary series to watch during Halloween? I'll go ahead and start this off with Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the
original
zombie movie. Yeah, well, even the remake later on, which was really good.
Was it? See, I hadn't seen it.
Oh, the remake was actually dead on. You would think it's the same actors and everything.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was dead, and it was just remade to be a little more. I want to say modern, but at the same time, kind of the same time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they did a really good job, I think. Well, anyway,
neat.
Yeah, if you get a chance, I say watch it. I would say Night of the Living Dead is a great start for zombie movies for that kind of thing. Then you get into like I don't know the Resident Evil movie, which I think it was a good zombie movie.
Yeah, it's entertaining.
Yeah,
it's definitely entertaining.
You can't look at it like you can look at it like oh yeah, it's Resident Evil, but the first movie, I'm not talking about any of the others.
Yeah,
I'm just talking about the first one. The first one's a good zombie movie.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So
it's a piss poor interpretation of the game, but I think it's a decent. If they named that anything else, you would have been like, yeah, this is a pretty decent movie.
Yeah, it's a good zombie.
Plus, it's got Mila Jovovich, so come on.
Yeah, all of them have her, but all of them aren't as good as the first one.
True. Yeah.
But
the first Evil Dead, it's a very cliched 70s style or early 80s style horror movie with some of the stuff that goes on in it and stuff like that. But
well, let's get into the Evil Dead idea. When the movie came out, it was meant to be scary.
Yes, the first one was scary. The second one was a horror comedy.
Well,
and they did that on purpose.
It was meant to be scary, but it turned out not to be.
Yeah, it wasn't the first one, it wasn't as scary as it could have been, but the second one definitely they went, you know what, we're not even going to try. Just make it funny.
People thought it was funny. People thought the first one was funny. So and this is just my representation of it. This is how I look at it, and I want to think I'm right, but people thought the first one was funny. Because when I first watched it, I thought it was hilarious. And then so they went and made the sequel and said, fuck it, let's make this funny.
Yeah, make it a really dark comedy.
And it was hilarious. And then it just went on from there. And because of that, it's a fucking cult classic.
Yeah, the original Nightmare on Elm Street, I think, still holds up.
First three
movies. Still very horror cliched and stuff like that. But, it's good. I like the practical effects in it. When Freddy's looking over her in the wall and stuff like that. The new one, used... Okay, I will say this. I like the new one.
Okay.
I do like it. I think people are just upset because it's not exactly the original and it's not Robert Englund and stuff like that. I don't care. I like the new one.
I can't give you a proper idea. I was disappointed that they made a new one without Robert Englund, but at the same time, it's okay. I'm willing to check it out. So I can't give you a real good thought on what I feel about it because I haven't seen it.
Well, see, in the new one, when Freddy is looking over her in the bed and he's like coming through the wall, they use CGI. There is no reason to use CGI. The reason being is in the original, to get that same effect, they pulled the sheet super tight to look like the wall, and he simply put his head and claws against it. And I actually think it looks way better because he's actually there.
More realistic looking.
Yeah. To kind of go sci-fi in this, I'm going to say the first Alien movie.
Yeah. Well,
I think that actually is a horror movie. It becomes a horror movie.
Yes, Alien 1 was definitely good. Even Alien 2, but Alien 2 became more action.
Yeah, and it was definitely made to be more of an action movie than the first one.
Yeah, Alien 1's definitely a wonderful horror movie. Let's see, what's another good one? Well, crap. I can tell you a bunch of movies off the top of my head, but I can't.
Well, probably the first and second Friday the 13th.
Well, even Halloween.
Halloween. Yeah, the actual Halloween movie. Yeah. Actually, the first and second Halloween movie, because it's the first one, it's his mother, and the second one, it's him.
Okay. Once again, Wes Craven, God bless him, or Satan bless him, wherever he's at. He's let's talk about a controversial movie that you and I seen, The Wishmaster.
Yeah, I liked Wishmaster.
That movie was so gory that it was horrible. Horrible as in scary.
Yeah, I agree. Now the ending was piss poor stupid.
Yeah, but and that's why it didn't last. It wasn't like a whole awesome movie, but it was definitely good for jump scares, and that's what Craven was good for.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, and some of the effects were really cool, and like some of the wishes that turned backwards on them when the gene goes up to him and he says, to the security guard, what is it that you want? He goes, I want you to turn around, walk away, and never come back. Mm-hmm. And he's like, it's like he's forced to.
He told him he wants him to disappear or something.
Oh yeah, disappear. Yeah,
and then he ends up putting that dude in like another dimension or some shit like that. I can't.
Well, no, what he said. Yeah, no. The one I'm talking about was he says, I want you to go away.
That's
and so
he's
like forced to go away. Well, no, and then he says, he goes, because the only way you're getting through here is to go through me.
Oh, that's right.
And I would love to see you try. So he turns him into that door.
Yeah.
And he's like all messed up, and
my favorite is the was it the woman or a guy that wanted immortality?
Yeah.
And he made him a fucking mannequin.
Yep.
Like he wanted to look young forever or whatever.
Yep.
that was pretty cool. That if you guys haven't seen it, I suggest you watch it. Jeepers Creepers, another good scary movie.
Yep. You know what? I like the second one more than the first one.
They were both good in my opinion. Candyman, that was a good one.
Candyman, that is a good one. The
first I was an adult.
Yeah, the first one was awesome.
Yes, it was a very good movie.
Yep. And then there's there's a movie that was recorded right next to the town that Wild and I were in, Night of the Scarecrow or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't right next to the town. It was in the town we were at.
Well, it was the town. It was the town next. It was where Maximus lives.
No, it was actually in our town.
Was it? Well,
you're right. You're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, it takes place in there, but some of the locations are actually there.
That's right. Yeah, because they did it at the square in the center of where Max lives.
Because they did it at the Bastille where in the area that they normally do the Renaissance Festival, and it was literally when right as they were breaking ground for the mall, and they decided to turn that into a story because it was a cornfield originally.
Yeah, which was perfect.
Yes, people, that is the type of town we grew up in. Literally, the mall plowed down a cornfield, and some people were actually so upset and creative at the time they decided that, hey, let's make this a curse. Kind of all ties in like that. It's pretty funny.
The movie wasn't super scary, but it was definitely a good watch, and it was kind of like, I recognize these places kind of thing.
Yeah, it was just kind of cool. It's like, hey, wait a minute, that house is down the street from me.
Yeah.
It was like, what the hell when they were recording that?
Another good zombie movie. What was it? What was the one with John Leguizamo was in?
Oh, that was Land of the Dead.
Land of the Dead. Good.
Yeah,
movie.
I liked Land of the Dead.
Land of the Dead was a really good movie. It had that Dead Reckoning. That bus that was with
the sky blooms.
Yeah. What was it?
Or the flowers, or what they called them.
You guys want to talk about a good series that's good for? I mean, we all know The Walking Dead. Yes.
Yep. Oh yeah, Walking Dead is freaking amazing.
I've thought about looking into iZombie. I'm not sure I like the fact that a zombie is self-aware.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I like that. What was that romantic zombie movie that they came out with?
It was like Cold Hearts or something like that.
I did not really care to. I watched a little bit of that, and I just wanted to smack.
Love is what brought them back to life, or some shit.
Yeah, I wanted to smack somebody, and it was ridiculous. But there's another one. There's another zombie flick on sci-fi and I forget what it's called. It's I can't remember, but it's a really good interpretation of a good zombie like apocalypse as well. Yeah. And of course we can't take, and we're talking zombies. We can't take away from Zombieland itself.
Oh yeah, Zombieland was awesome. I can't wait for Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. I'm so glad they went that way with turning it into the movie after the shitstorm that World War Z was.
Yeah. Oh God, World War Z.
Honestly, how World War Z should have been is just like the book. Make it a reporter who is reporting it, and make it like actual interviews with recreations of what was going on, and do it like it was a newscast, something like the book was, with that reporter going around and getting firsthand accounts from these people. Not fucking, oh yeah, let's just have Brad Pitt fly around and ignore his family and
blow planes up every 5 seconds. It was just a really bad movie. The movie was a really big disappointment.
Yeah, especially after the book was so damn good.
Mm-hmm. So we're talking scary movies. Let's see, what's another good scary movie?
Showgirls. That movie is frightening.
Showgirls?
Yeah,
it's not meant to be scary.
It's frighteningly horrible.
The Blob.
Oh, the original Blob, yeah.
Yeah, do you remember those? Those were cool.
I remember the original Blob,
I grew up, those movies scared the shit out of me as a kid. As an adult.
Oh, one of my favorites. Okay, so it's not really a horror movie, but it is very, very, very entertaining. It's corny. It's campy. What kid talks like this? But it didn't matter because we were so into it. It's a bunch of 12-year-olds running around swearing. Monster Squad.
Oh yeah, and you can see that on Netflix.
Yeah, Monster Squad is fucking awesome. Just give it a chance. Understand that it's made to be kind of corny and everything like that. It's fun. It's a fun movie.
Back in the day, I guess kids did talk like that. Back in the 80s or whatnot. It is a very good movie.
Yeah.
It's basically one of the first times you'd ever see all the monsters, like the old, Dracula, whatever.
It's all the Universal monsters together. Wolfman, Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Wolfman's got nards.
Mummy. Yeah, and apparently Wolfman does have nards.
Yes. Nards was a word back then. It means testicles.
Yep.
So Wolfman has testicles.
Wolfman had testicles, and they kick him right in the freaking nards.
Right in the freaking nards.
Yeah.
So it's a very entertaining movie. If you haven't seen it, I'd suggest you do.
Dracula's a huge asshole in it. Frankenstein's in it. The Frankenstein's monster anyway is in it. He's freaking awesome.
The Creature from the Black Lagoon.
The Mummy.
The Mummy, you name it. Like all the old school hardcore monsters. It's definitely.
Ooh, look at the big scary monster. Ooh.
Yeah.
Mummy is literally in this kid's closet.
Yeah. It's hilarious. The mummy was
Yeah.
coming out of a kid's closet. That doesn't say Amber Alert.
No.
I don't know what.
I love that one.
Children of the Corn?
Children of the Corn. Typical.
first one.
Fun. Yeah, the first one. Typical fun. Stephen King movie. Yeah, I actually thought it
Shining.
was
You want to
good.
talk Stephen King movies? The Shining.
I think the original one done by Kubrick.
Yes.
I think is actually better than the miniseries. The miniseries is
miniseries
so
was okay.
boring.
The miniseries was okay. The thing with the miniseries is it gave a little more explanation to some of the ghosts in that hotel.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The thing is, the original movie was not filmed here at the Stanley Hotel.
No.
It was filmed, I want to say, somewhere
It was
in
on a
Washington.
set, I think.
Well, a lot of it was, but then like the outside shots, I believe, were somewhere in Washington or Oregon.
Yeah.
Nerds, correct me when I'm wrong here. I know it was somewhere like that. And then Stephen King went, I don't like this, and so he made a little mini series. And it's like, sometimes your book doesn't need to be told word for word, page for page.
Yeah, and which was sometimes a good thing, What about this one's very controversial. A lot of people have fears of clowns because of this one, and you know what I'm
Killer
gonna
Clowns from Outer Space.
Oh no.
Oh,
Stephen-
yes, that movie was intentionally made bad.
Stephen King, man.
Oh, It?
It.
And you know what? I did like It. Tim Curry is freaking hilarious.
Oh,
in that.
he's beautiful in that. But
Oh, and it's so funny because I did not realize that was him until years later.
Yep.
There is a scene where they are in, I believe, the library, and Tim Curry, as It, is sitting on top, and he's mocking them doing that. The guy who is playing one of the background characters behind him and a woman are walking around. They are actually laughing because they can't contain how funny he is actually being in that scene when he's supposed to be being terrifying.
yeah, but that's yeah. I think that movie has a lot to do with the people being scared of clowns. That and Poltergeist,
Oh yeah, first Poltergeist.
where the clown doll comes to life and scared.
Oh yeah,
That was horrifying. I'm not gonna lie.
Yep.
As a kid watching that, man, oh shit.
Yeah, I love Poltergeist, the first one. That movie inspired a lot of other horror cliches
yes.
and things. And what's funny is it's actually based off of what happened here in Colorado, up in Denver at Cheeseman Park.
Oh no shit.
Yeah,
Did the
here,
house
basically-
implode?
Yeah, well, no. What happened was basically is they were supposed to move all these bodies. This company said, well, we're not going to move these. We'll pay someone else to move them. So the city pays this company. This company literally pays one dude. This one dude moves a few bodies and goes, I'm done. And says, oh, yeah, we totally moved them. So as they're building the houses and the park, they start kicking up bodies.
Oh god.
And to this day, there's still bodies there, and you can find the graves because after it rains and stuff like that, the ground will sink in a little bit, and it's the first place the grass starts to grow back.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and the people who live on the outskirts of this park. Now, I'm not talking about the people who are there cross-dressing and giving discount blowjob blowouts, which I'm serious. This is why you don't go around Cheeseman.
Yeah.
Their houses, they will actually report that are haunted. They see things will move in their houses. They hear weird noises, and I'm not talking about, like I said, not getting the discount BJ in the backyard.
Oh, suck me.
Yeah.
Um.
But yeah, it happened right over here.
Well, here's a name of a older kind of horror series that you might remember. Phantasm.
Yeah.
With that old man and those weird balls that flew around.
Yes.
That movie, my dad and I were
It's-
watching that late at night one time, and I've never seen a movie make my dad jump, and there was a jump scare scene in this, and it got both of us. He jumped, he goes, oh shit, and I'm like, it scared you? He's like, yeah.
Yeah, I remember the first time I watched Prince of Darkness, it gave me some nightmares. But then after watching it again, I realized how scary it's not.
Yeah.
It's another one of those surprise Jesus and the devil are aliens
Yeah.
type thing. So it ends up not being scary type thing. It's more weird than anything.
Here's a game that here's a game that you played when you were.
I was gonna say, yeah, because a good one is Outlast. You want to be terrified, play Outlast.
Well, when we're talking games, like especially newer games, you can always do Dead Space.
Oh God, yeah.
But no, I'm talking about a game that you played when we were in high school, Phantasmagoria.
Oh yeah.
That was actually a game that we couldn't stop playing because
playing that.
it's like
Yep.
it was a blue
full
screen,
motion video
full motion
one.
video kind of thing. Yeah.
And everything like that. Phantasmagoria is one of the games, along with Mortal Kombat and Night Trap, that caused them to go, you know what, games need to be rated.
I think she got raped in that.
She
game.
literally,
We're like,
that's what I was
"What?"
about to bring out. She literally, you literally watched her husband rape her at one
Yeah,
point.
and we're like watching that, going, "What kind of game are we playing?"
Yeah, I mean, you don't like, it's not hardcore porn penetration stuff like that, but it's
There's thrusting.
you know exactly what they're doing and you know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
And there were so many times when we were playing that game where all of a sudden something would happen and we'd scream and throw the mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like, and it was
Like
little
jump
things.
scares. Like
Yeah.
they would set you up for a jump scare, and they didn't do this very often, so it made it very good this way. Like at one point, you're in her little garage or something like that, and you're like, oh, there's a jump scare coming, and this cat jumps out, and you're like, oh yeah, I saw that coming. Boom! Right afterwards, here comes the actual jump scare.
Yeah.
And we're all sitting there going, ah!
It was very well done. Like that was that game was, if I could go back and just play it, I mean, I think we would probably be like, this is stupid now, like with the graphics, but
yeah, it was cool because it was also a puzzle game. Like you had to figure out ways of getting around the house to solve the mystery, and there was multiple endings if you didn't do certain things, and you would very gruesome deaths. Like at one point, she's tied to a chair, and a guillotine comes down and starts cutting her up. And
yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, but Phantasmagoria is pretty cool.
But it was a fun game and it was good to watch. I think you and I would sit for hours and try and figure out what we should do next. And
it's a really good game. I hope that they come back out with it and stuff like that, and like updated.
Mm-hmm. And then hopefully we'll see. Maybe at least get the writers back together and maybe make something new.
Yeah, and you can't forget, as far as games, like Silent Hill series and everything like that.
Silent Hill, the first 3 games.
Yeah,
Silent
nice
Hill,
and scary.
Yeah, you can't beat that. Silent Hill, even the first few Resident Evils, which of course those are the 2 opposite sides of the spectrum.
One's more action oriented, one's more surviving.
But of course, when you're surviving zombies and stuff, it's scary. Left 4 Dead, that's a good zombie game.
Left 4 Dead is just so much fun.
I've been playing Dying Light, and that game could scare the shit out of you if you're not careful. As far as zombies go, the genre's been a little overdone, but at the same time, I still love it. I have a deep love for zombie games.
Oh yeah, you've got it though.
Yeah,
because like you said, there's a lot of them out there and stuff like that. But and they came out in just this big bulk.
Yes,
it seemed like at one point.
Yeah.
But what I want to see is I want to see a good vampire game. I remember when we were so force fed all the damn vampire movies and TV shows. I want a good vampire game. Now I know there is one out there, and the name escapes me.
Oh, there's Vampire the Masquerade. That's actually.
Oh, Vampire the Masquerade is actually good. Yeah, based off of the White Wolf game system.
Well, yeah, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the Anne Rice stories, which is an interesting vampire take. And
yeah, so there's definitely a lot of sex in it.
Yeah, well, it's not as bad, but there's a lot of sexual oriented stuff. Yeah,
which is kind of cool. And then you've got, like I said, I want to see a good vampire game. I want to see a game where you're hunting down the vampires, and if you're not careful, you're gonna die. Or if you're playing the vampire and you have to be sneaky and stuff like that. It's one of the things I liked about the Skyrim with the Dawn Guard.
Yeah, I was about to say Skyrim does that, but yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I think they got it backwards. It shouldn't be the hungrier you are, the more powerful of a vampire you are. I think the more blooded you are, the more powerful you should be. And the less likely you are to, and there are mods out there that fix it.
Yeah, and that's how, in my opinion, how it should be. But
yeah, there's a couple, and what's cool is there's a couple of websites that are dedicated to some kind of like vampire lore and stuff like that. I remember one that was basically a vampire hunter's guide, and it was really cool. I don't even know if it's still on the internet, but this guy had some really cool pictures that he had taken and doctored up, so it looks like this really old decaying guys and stuff like that. But he's like, hey, look, this is the more powerful vampire, and he went like the whole lore and everything. It was really cool, and I wish I could remember it. If nerds out there, if you remember it, drop a link in the comments and stuff like that, and let other people know, and let us know if it's still out there, because it was a really cool website. I want to give this guy props.
There are some websites where you can actually buy vampire hunting kits, and of course, at least I like to think that they're for prop, because a lot of them are really pretty, a lot of them are really cool looking. They look all almost like straight from a movie, like Van Helsing or something like that.
Oh yeah,
but they weren't so damn expensive, because a lot of people are like, oh, $200, $300 for this fucking box full of shit that you're never gonna use. I would totally buy one just to have one. Or have one, on for display. But I'm not gonna spend $200-$300 for fake holy water and some sharp sticks.
Yeah.
And
All right, now, before we get into personal experience of the paranormal,
Ooh.
I'm going to drop what I think is the bar none best Halloween/fall special ever created. You ready?
I'm listening.
It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown.
Oh, yeah.
I fucking love that. I think it's their best one.
Fucking
It's a little
scary
slower
out here.
pace. It's fun. We've done parodies of it. Me and Wild have. I'm sure eventually I'll get around to doing an HD remake of that where it's like a lot better.
That's
It's
where that
just-
comes from, by the way. Fucking
Yeah.
scary out
Fucking
here.
scary out here. It's so much fun. The animation's really simple, but it's entertaining. Yeah, every time it comes around, I have to watch it. And of course, and the king bar none as far as television series goes for Halloween, Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone, yeah. Twilight Zone's a winner. Every time
That one just plays off of human fear in a good way.
every time Halloween comes around, you just gotta watch the Twilight Zone.
Yep.
You know? That and zombies.
All right. Oh, yeah. So, transitioning a little bit here. All right. People should know is I have grown up seeing stuff all my life. It's normal in my
That'd be
family.
you and me both, actually.
Yeah. So you cannot convince me in Wild as far as anything that you might say that, there's no such thing as ghosts. Well, okay, there might not be ghosts in the way that we think of them, but there's something out there because we see them.
I've had too many experiences that proves otherwise for me to believe anyone.
Yeah.
You know, you can come to me with science or whatever, great. But I've had way too many unexplained phenomenon that has happened to me where I've seen things, felt things, been punched by stuff that's not there. You know, to believe the latter. You're not gonna make a skeptic out of me because there's no way in fuck I can be a skeptic.
Yeah. I mean, Wild for the longest time that I knew him actually lived all through high school and everything like that in a haunted house. Now, what's interesting is he never told me. His mother never told me. His father never told me. And I went to him one day and I said, "Hey, I think there's something here in your house." He goes, "What do you mean?" I said, I keep hearing a guy laugh and your rocking chair moves."
Which was his old rocking chair.
He goes, "Oh, really?" I go, "Yeah." And then starts to ask me some questions. I said, "Yeah." I said, "He's got like a D word. I don't know what his name is. Like D something. It's like
Yeah.
Dem or Dom." And then you told me the whole story behind it. And I went, well, "That's the guy."
Yeah, he had a very deep laugh. You could hear it every song. He liked to play pranks on people. It wasn't necessarily like
like
a bad thing. He was just
You would
played
put your
pranks.
shoes by the bathroom, and he would move your shoes.
Yeah, they'd be in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Or,
like all of a sudden your shoe would like be laying down, and you would watch your shoe go straight up and then fall back over.
There was a few nights I'd sleep, you know, and you'd wake up in the middle of the night, just to wake up, like you have to go to the restroom or something, or just you wake up and you go back to sleep. Well, there's a few times I'd wake up, I'd look around. I remember a few times I had a fish tank in my room, and there was a light from it that would illuminate right where the rocking chair would be. Well, I remember seeing the rocking chair going back and forth a few times. Now, this wasn't like, it didn't freak me out. At first I think it did freak me out a little bit, but it didn't stop me from going back to sleep. I was like, okay, I'm going back to sleep, because I've seen shit like that my whole life. I was just like, oh, okay, this is cool. And I knew it was because it was that person's chair to begin with. Well, there was one night.
And you never felt threatened at your place.
Yeah, and there was
Ever.
one night. Well, you can always, for some reason, I can always tell if there was something that was like threatening around.
Yeah.
There was one night where I think Sunrise we were spending the night. It was a weekend that we were just messing around or doing something.
I think we were recording videos or something.
Yeah, and
like
you were on the floor and you tapped my bed. You're like, "Hey, Wild." I'm like, "Huh?" And I look at you and you're like, "Look at your chair." And it's going back and forth. It's not even doing it like a little bit.
No, it's like somebody
full
was
on
sitting
rocking.
in there like rocking, just like with their feet up and like rocking back. I
Yeah.
mean, like full on move, not a little bit like a breeze. I mean, full rock forward, rock back, rock forward, rock back.
Yeah, and my TV I think was still on at the point. We know it was on because we left it on.
Yeah, it could be left audio.
And it was just, I was like, oh, well, that's cool. So I'm all, it's just Mr. So and so.
Yeah, Mr. D.
Yeah, and he'd go, oh, okay.
Yeah, I go back to sleep.
Just back to sleep, and then there was nothing. Here's an interesting story though. To this day I can't really, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't really explain it. There was a time when Sunrise and I we weren't talking for a while. He moved away. You know, just life got in the way.
Yeah.
I had a dream, and this dream sticks with me to this day. It had to do with actually I take it back. This was slightly before you moved away, but you're in the process.
Yes. Yeah.
I had a dream where because we used to go on ghost hunts and stuff like that to places in this area.
Yeah, we've got some cool video.
Yeah.
Real cool video.
But this particular one I didn't go on. I remember it clear as a bell. And I remember something about.
Oh, this was with Popov, P-Rock, and Beach.
P-Rock, and I remember all the.
Yeah, we went to the place called the winery that everybody, but it was shut down. We don't even know if this was an actual winery.
Yeah.
But this place was creepy.
The dream was, and basically, and this was again a long time ago. It's vivid, but I can only remember certain parts. The dream was that we all went in. They were recording. We heard a dog, and when I saw the dog looked demonic. It looked like horrible. Well, everyone got in the car. Some other stuff happened. Everyone ran to the car and recorded as they were leaving. P-Rock had the camera and was recording as they were leaving. Well, they left me behind without knowing, and I was stuck inside the. I want to say almost looked like a grain thing, like a.
Yeah. There's like a silo.
Yeah, it was like a silo, and then I woke up. And then years later, Sunrie and I talked about this, and I told him about this dream, and he told me what happened. Now, what really happened, Sunrie?
All right, so what happened was we had gone around to different places recording. We eventually get to what is known as this place called the winery. We're driving down the dirt road, and Popov is kind of hanging out of the window recording.
Yep.
So he's in the front seat. P-Rock's driving. I'm in the back seat. I've got all the recorders and stuff like that, and I'm jotting everything down on what time we're where and everything like that. And as we're going down this dirt road and we start getting up out of nowhere is what I can only remember as this big black dog that I think was a Rottweiler. Now,
and that's
Rottweilers are great dogs. They really are. So I'm not saying anything negative like that. But it starts charging the car, just full run. And we're like, oh, screw this. Throw it in reverse, and we start hauling ass backwards. Popov's still recording. This thing runs all the way down, gets about halfway, stops. We continue back, and the dog just sits there and watches us.
Right at the road was where it stopped.
Right at the road.
And he told me that.
Just watching us. And this dog just keeps sitting there, and it keeps looking up to the left. And then it would look at us, and then it would look up to the left.
And the left was where? The silo was where the silo was out, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't that
and then
weird?
Just watch it, so we drive away. Now, here's where things get really interesting. From about halfway down the road that we're recording, the camera goes black. No sound, no nothing. Nothing's getting recorded, but we don't know this at the time until we're reviewing the video. It's not until we're already down the road, and all of a sudden it cuts back into us going, holy crap, what the hell was that? Oh, it was a fucking dog. And it's like, wait a minute, where did all that video go?
Yeah, it just blacked out.
Just blacked out. Now, at my place, I get, because I'm kind of like, I don't know, I'm kind of like a magnet for all this.
You talking about where you live now?
Yeah, where I live now.
Oh, yeah, that's another dream we got to talk about, but go on.
Yeah. Before I bought this place, I looked at several. There was one where driving up and pulling into the spot with the real estate agent, I literally went, no. And my mother was there, my stepfather's there, P-Rock's there, and we all went, no, there's no way. And the real estate agent goes, why? I said, there's something in there. I said, and I don't like whatever's in there, but I want to go in there.
Yeah.
I said, I have no interest in buying this place, but I want to check this place out. Going in there, everywhere that I could look, there were different types of religious symbols, like on the walls, on the windows. In the walls were carved prayers of protection in several different religions and languages.
That's kind of spooky.
Literally to the point where I'm walking through there, and it was like somebody was pushing down on my shoulders, and I was getting the attention that I know you know I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you're keeping me away, but the moment you let your guard down, I'm coming in. And I was just like, okay, we have to leave. And on the way out, we started hearing somebody running around on the stairs and like slamming the walls. And we're like, even the real estate agent goes, lock the door. So I'm like, yeah, no problem. I lock it. End up coming back to this place. I'm like, no. You know what? I want this place. This is definitely the place I want. Mm-hmm. Well, my brother doesn't tell me, as while I'm at work and they're helping me, make this place as nice as it is now, she goes, I keep hearing a woman's voice. I'm like, really? She goes, yeah. I said, well, I keep seeing a guy stand over where my couch is and walk down the hallway. And she goes, oh yeah, he's there too. Well, interesting enough, one day I wasn't paying much attention, and it's not my wife. I wasn't dating her yet, but I go walking, texting on my phone to the girl that I'm dating, and my vacuum is inside the kitchen at the time because I just got done cleaning some stuff up, and not really thinking, I see her, or who I thought it for a moment was her, leaning up against the vacuum. So I hit send, and I go to say, hey, her name, why are you on the floor? Not thinking I'm texting her because she's not here.
Yeah.
And this woman looks up at me with like this half drunk, like half high smile and disappears, and my vacuum goes click, cluck, right back straight up and down. I went, oh my God, I just saw her.
Now, I want you to tell the story. Remember I told you that dream I had about 4 months before we came to Colorado.
Oh yeah, where you were
About
telling
your place.
me about. Well, it wasn't my place. It was my mother's old place.
No, I was telling you about your place.
Oh, that's right.
It was I gave you a dead-on description.
Yeah,
of
you
it.
did, you gave me a dead-on description of my place.
I've
because
never
you came
seen
out
it.
here. Yeah, and then you said, oh yeah, you go down here. This room's here. Then
Yeah.
this room's here. This room's here. You come back out. You've got this here. This here. This here. You've got, and I hadn't put pictures up
And I said,
of my place.
And I told him this is where because the dream was the spirits were like in certain
Yeah.
rooms. And I said
yeah,
this
he
is
goes,
where
this guy's here. This person's here. This one's over here.
this happens in like your living area. This happens in your kitchen, and a lot of it was me looking outside of the kitchen.
Yeah.
And I gave a good description about like how the kitchen looked, and it was funny. And I told
Yeah,
him
because when you got here for my wedding and stuff like that, you were in my kitchen. You're standing here like, this is what I saw, and like you're describing like where everything was in your dream from where you could see.
like even the shit hanging from the walls was accurate. Like I can't even explain it. It was interesting. Yeah.
That was really cool. And then I still get roamers every so often. I don't have anything here permanently anymore. Not that I'm aware of anymore.
Oh, they might just be dormant. They might be having a little ghost.
It happens. Yeah, it was really funny because I was telling my wife, we'll just call her Cuteness because that's always what I call her, about where things were. I said, so if you ever hear anything, you see anything, this is what's going on. Don't ever feel threatened. Because nothing here is like any kind of heavy presence. I said the few times I've pushed him out, and it's like, okay. Well, we're watching my mother's dog and my dog. So it's two pugs and a toy chihuahua at this point in my place. This is before we got our dogs.
That toy chihuahua was adorable.
Oh yeah, Chewy was awesome.
Yep.
So we're sitting there and we're asleep, and then I see this thing kind of come up the stairs. And the rule that I have in my place is if I'm asleep or I'm, stuff like that, you're not allowed to come up. You can't come in. But I see this thing come up the stairs to where it would normally be seen. And all of a sudden, Mercedes, the black pug, stops. She looks straight up, whips her head up the stairs, and starts growling. And I wake Cuteness up. I go, hey. I said, look. I said, watch. I said, it's right there. I don't know if you can see it, but it's right there. And Mercedes starts creeping up on the ground, and I see it like back up on the stairs. So Mercedes jumps up and looks down the stairs and starts growling, and I see this thing take off, and I tell her, Mercedes, go tell her that you're here. Go tell it that you're protecting us. She starts running down the stairs, stops, turns around, looks under the stairs over to where we've got like the breakfast nook and stuff like that, and starts growling where I always used to see it sitting in the chair with its feet up on my counter. So she starts growling. I see it bolt down the hallway. She takes off down the hallway to where it disappears, starts growling. It disappears and then comes back to where it likes to stand by the back door. And I see her whip around, start to run over to it. It disappears. She stops, looks around, starts wagging her tail, runs upstairs and lays back down on the bed. Yeah. Then another time we were having one that was walking up and down from the kitchen in towards the bathroom in the hallway, like loud, and you could feel the depressions in the wood. She's got a friend over, they're baking, and all of a sudden Cuteness goes, yeah, so me and my friend in here were baking, and all of a sudden I heard it. She turns around and goes, what was that? And I told her it was the water heater. She goes, bullshit. I felt the footsteps in the floor walk down the hallway and come back.
Wow.
Yeah, she's like, oh yeah. She goes, at that point I told her what was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you and Max, those weird photos you got.
Which ones?
Only when his ex-girlfriend was there.
Oh yeah, Max.
Yeah, she had something bad attached to her.
Because everywhere there's some weird photos we got at Max's house. We did like a Halloween there one time. Well, we've done a lot of Halloweens there, but we would always take photos. Well, there's like distorted pictures where people's faces were like mangled.
People in the photo who shouldn't have been in the photo, like extra people standing with people.
There was a
purse floating in the air out of nowhere. Like everything, and before you say, oh, well, someone threw it. No. This was taken on a regular digital camera, like one of those little pocket cameras, the cyber shots.
Yeah.
If the purse was moving, it would have streaked.
Yep.
It is perfectly in frame and perfectly viewable, and it is closer than everyone else, so the focus should not be that sharp.
Exactly.
These cameras don't have a rack focus.
It was really strange. Like, of course, you hear people talking about orbs and stuff. There were orbs all over his house.
Yeah, and only when she was around.
Even places where there shouldn't have been. Now you can take a photo there, nothing.
Nothing.
So there was some. He would have banging. There was one night I was over there. there, and I got extremely intoxicated and ended up sleeping in the front room. And he was over there, we were over there, and I heard banging on the walls, and like the kitchen doors and stuff would open up.
Just open up.
Yeah. It was pretty creepy, and I don't know. It was kind of one of those feelings that I would say if it would have wanted to got violent, it would have.
Yeah.
So it was good. It's gone now. He had a Darth Vader coin machine.
Oh yeah.
You put like a quarter in. I remember you remember it. And you put a quarter in, and it'd be like, whoa, you cannot be the dark side or whatever.
You cannot resist the power of the dark side.
And it would move and shake its lightsaber around and stuff. It was real cool. The thing would go off for no reason, and it had full batteries.
Yeah, and there were times where it would go off. And we would say, "Oh man, your batteries are dying." He goes, "No," and he would take the batteries out, and it would turn on.
Go.
It's like, wait a minute.
Yep.
There's no batteries in this thing.
It's just, and like it would plug into the wall. And we'd unplug it, and it would still go. It was pretty creepy. There's some pretty creepy stuff going on.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I've got pictures of like with my wife, like we went to the Stanley. I've got a picture of like a spectral hand on the back of her shirt, because even me and my mother were looking at it, going, "Hey, wait a minute, something's touching your wife." And I go, "Yeah, you see that too, right?" So nobody could get a picture. Like everyone's trying to get a picture, and no one could. And finally, cameras just started going off randomly.
Yeah, I want to go.
I happened to catch a picture of her looking back, smiling, like, "Hey, this is cool. Check out this cold spot everyone's checking out." And you see a hand on her back.
Oh, that's cool as shit.
It's really cool. Like I said, you cannot convince me there are not ghosts. I don't know what a ghost is. I will not tell you it's a dead person. I will not say.
We'll try not to. We don't rationalize it. We just tell you what we see.
Yeah. So you're not going to convince me that there's not what we call ghosts.
I refuse to believe that there's no such thing as life after death. There has to be.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, exactly.
One of the main laws of the world is
the
universe does not
matter cannot be created or
matter
destroyed.
Cannot be created or destroyed. Well, if we have souls, that's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
So
you can't just shut down a computer and it goes nowhere. That power still goes places and does things.
Yeah, it's dormant, but it's still there.
Yeah.
So it's just if you believe otherwise, that's fine. We both have had too much stuff happen to the point.
Yeah, and there are a lot of people out there who you can have an audio recording of a voice and they can't hear the voice. You can show them video and they can't see the video. And then there's people who will be standing there watching something happen and they still don't. It's still a rational explanation as to why. And who knows? Maybe some point we can rationalize as to what exactly is going on. But for now, it's paranormal. It's above the normal.
It's not normal. It's paranormal.
And there's a lot of fakers out there, and sorry, but yeah, they kind of ruin it for the rest of us.
There are a lot of fakers out there. It's like, oh, did you hear something? Yeah, it's the guy off screen going, "Get out."
Yeah, Marco Polo.
One of the places I used to work, creepy as shit. We used to work there with the lights off. I was a security guard there. And I don't give a shit what anyone says. That place had a few spirits. Places where things would happen.
Are you talking about the Mimic?
I was getting to the Mimic.
Yeah.
But there was a part where I was actually going through, and I thought I had left my keys somewhere, and I was searching my body, searching my pants and my whatever, looking for my keys, going, "Damn it, where'd I put this?" And the way anything would communicate there, and I was the only one in this place. It was closed. It was night. It was like 3 a.m. in the morning. I hear, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" Okay, so I follow the whistle, and it takes me directly to where my keys were at.
Yeah, I remember that story.
Like, okay, I look around, and I say, "Thank you," and then move on. Well, there's another part where I used to tell this to the people I trained too that did the graveyard. It partially to scare the shit out of them, and partially to warn them, but mostly scare shit out of them because I wanted them to freak out at night.
Yep.
But there was a time where I would go into the restrooms. Again, no one was there, and I literally did hear in a female's voice, "Get out!" And I'm like, "What the fuck?" Yeah. And I look, and there's no one in there. And then the toilet seat dropped in one of the stalls, and I'm like, "Okay, sorry for bothering you. There's
You're taking a ghost shit.
You're doing your thing. You're taking a ghost shit. I will let you be. Have a good one." And I walked out. You would hear crying in front of one of the access ways. The Mimic that Sunrie was talking about. I'll explain this. There's a black window, a window to one of the areas that was blacked out. Well, if you looked at it, your reflection would do different things.
Yeah, you would be walking by, and you would think that you would see a reflection, and your reflection would stop, or it would turn and look at you while you were walking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Explain that one. Oh, yeah. There's no explanation. It was creepy, and it actually freaked me out a bit. Like, like one point my reflection stopped and tapped its chin and looked at me. One point it was just its head was turned the whole time while I was walking, and I was like I was looking at the corner of my eye.
Just ignore it.
Like it's not there. Yeah. There was like corridors through this area where there would be knocking for no reason. Like and it would follow you. You'd be ahead of it, and it would just as you go, and it would be right behind you, almost like it was trying to chase you. Of course, I wouldn't run. I'm like, hey, what are you gonna do to me there, Ghosty? I'm sure something could happen, but like I said, I've been slapped before. But yeah,
I was gonna say, me and Wild have been slapped, scratched, pushed, kicked, tapped, poked. Yeah, it's fun. It's kind of cool, if you can see them. If you're one of the people who can't, but you can kind of experience stuff. You know what I'm talking about. So it's fun. But I think everyone should definitely get out there and have some fun on Halloween and
fun.
Remember urban legend. The times that they have found any kind of stuff in fruit has been put there by the people taking it to be X-rayed. It's a myth. Same with the poison candy.
I don't know. I'm sure there's some fucking.
I think there was one time with the poison candy, but they were able to track it back and nobody got hurt because there was something weird about it.
Take your children trick-or-treating, please.
Please. Let them have fun.
Let's not let Halloween become something that like we used to do.
Ladies, we're not social justice warriors, but if you want an outfit that isn't slutty for Halloween, you're gonna have to make it yourself. And I'm kind of sick of seeing it. I wish women had the same options as men as far as costumes go, and I'm sorry you don't.
Well, there are some cute ones. Actually, I've just read this online about something. I believe Party City got sued because they were selling slutty children costumes.
Well, yeah, it's even on their commercials. I remember looking at one going, it's an awfully small skirt for a Wonder Woman for like a 6-year-old.
Yeah, like I guess a mom went out of her way to sue them because, which I can't really blame him. I wouldn't want my daughter looking like a whore.
Well, go shop somewhere else.
Yeah. But these are for kids though, Sunrie.
Oh, I know.
I understand if it's a grown-ass adult one to show her booty off.
Yeah, but then sue the manufacturer.
Don't sue. Yeah, I agree with that. Don't sue like Party City for doing it. And yes, I am name dropping because that was the place.
Yeah, that was the place.
But don't just sue them. Sue the manufacturer. Sue the person who thought it was a good idea for someone to wear for like a 7-year-old to wear a short skirt.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like with Abercrombie and their preteen, there's no sex underwear. It's like, guys, no.
There's no reason for that.
Yeah.
Adults, teenagers, you know what? If you want to wear shit like that, that's great. Teenagers, you're on your own. But adults, women, you want to dress slutty, God bless you. That's one of the reasons I love Halloween. However, if you don't want to dress slutty, if you want to dress cute, that is an option too, and that's fine. Every Halloween, I try and buy at least 2 costumes. I collect. I love them.
Oh, hell yeah.
The part about, this year I haven't bought anything yet because I haven't had the chance to, but I hopefully will. Which I will go ahead and segue into this. This will be the first episode where we do the horror stories of a ex-GameStop employee. My good friend Uno will be.
Yeah, Uno will be telling us about that. So we will end it with that as our little ending for the podcast here. And remember, when witches fly by and black cats are seen, it's only 9 days till Halloween.
All right, this is Wyldfyre1. I'm here with Uno, my good friend who used to work at GameStop. This segment is called Horror Stories of a Former GameStop Employee. And Uno, I believe you have a story for us.
Yeah. All right. So anybody who's dealt with GameStop knows that there's all sorts of people that come in. And one of my favorite ones has to be probably this one guy. About, let's go with 5'7".
Mm-hmm.
So not short, heavily overweight.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Like scary overweight.
Like,
the guy
like roly-poly kind of overweight?
Sideways, yeah. If he tipped over, it would be like watching a log roll downhill, slowly.
Or an egg.
Yeah, egg works.
That works.
This guy comes in, and he's one of our regulars, right? Very nice, very sweet, very soft-spoken.
Okay.
But we watch him, and every time he comes in, he's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then one of my coworkers one day points out his legs. The guy has been coming in shorts probably since he first started coming there.
Mm-hmm.
And just above his socks, I mean, this dude is, any surfer knows this term is a shoebie. The kind of guy who wears flip-flops and white socks that come up to almost the knees.
Okay.
Right? Just above the knees is turning black and veiny.
Oh.
Right? His legs are literally dying under his weight.
Oh.
And every time we come in, we watch it progress.
What?
The guy is still walking on these things. He's just progressively getting larger, and his legs are progressively dying more.
Wow.
And you just watch this. It's like, oh my god, you don't want to deal with it. It's that insane. And finally, one day, we actually see him in a wheelchair, and I mean, he had heavy surgery on his legs.
Yeah.
So we were thinking, oh, cool, that's the end of that. About after the recovery period, he's back up and walking, and no, it's still just as bad.
Oh.
And he's still getting heavier. I mean, this guy had to have weighed a good 275 by the time I quit.
Oh wow. That's pretty bad. Like but he was a regular, right?
Yeah, he was a regular.
Did you guys have a nickname for him?
Stubbs.
Stubbs.
We ended up calling him Stubbs because we were sure he was going to end up losing those legs.
Oh wow. What kind of games did he end up getting?
He was always, of all things, sports games.
Really?
Yeah, football and basketball. I mean, he was massive into those. He was a huge Steelers fan.
I'm a big guy too, but I'm not that big. But like, if I want to, play sports, I'm gonna go out and play sports, and maybe that would have been more helpful to him.
I don't think he could at that point.
So maybe it was just like living the dream through a video game.
I'm living through video games, I swear.
Oh God, that's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, it got really bad, and you'd always see him with at least one, like these 7-Eleven big Slurpee cups, the supersized ones.
Oh, like the ones that like you drink them and you're like 10 pounds heavier.
Yes.
Oh.
And I have no idea what he drank in there, but oh my God, whatever it was, he needed to stop.
He was drinking pure mayo.
I think I just threw up a little bit.
Yeah, it's horrible. If he got bigger every time, there had to be like pure lard in that cup.
Dude, all right, so here's how bad it was. He was in at least once a week, and you could see how progressively bigger he got each day. That's how much of a regular he was. That's how much, and oh my God.
Wow.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, double chin, not even double chins. He was like working on that nice turkey neck look.
Oh, yeah, like 4 chins.
Yeah, like 4 chins. If you ever shook it, you'd be afraid something would come out.
Oh, like a chicken leg or some shit.
I'm more of afraid of like a full size cat.
Yeah, well, look, there's nothing wrong with a bigger guy. There's nothing wrong with a bigger guy, but Jesus Christ, and I'm sure there's a reason he was that big, but oh.
I was gonna say, I think you remember him too. He's the one who always wore the tank tops and the like sports shorts.
Oh, he's like that really awkward guy.
Yeah, who always sweated like massively with
Yes.
I moved 2 feet and suddenly I'm drenched.
Yes, I remember him.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh.
Right? So, where I'm working shuts down, I end up going to the other one, and he transfers over to that one.
Well, I think everyone had to transfer those games because that was probably the nearest GameStop as opposed to where you guys used to be.
Still was better at that one though.
Yeah. It was much better, but you know what? Whatever. That's another horror story for another time.
Oh yeah.
But do you have any more stories like any just we'll do one more. Any more like anything that it might come on because this is the Halloween episode. Anything that we can add that might be kind of scary, like maybe someone stunk?
Besides that guy?
Yeah.
Not much that were like that bad. Thankfully, I dealt with customers who were pretty okay. It wasn't until I went to the other GameStop that they started getting creepier.
Oh no.
Actually no. You remember the bird-nosed guy that we had?
Yeah.
Who had a thing for one of the coworkers?
Yeah, that was a stalker dude, wasn't it?
Yeah, the stalker dude.
Yeah.
That guy. Oh my God. All right. So anybody who is listening, do not please use GameStop as a bank. It kind of sucks on a normal basis. This is one of those guys who would come in, throw a bunch of cash down on a game, and then like 2 days before the game released, take it all back.
Yeah.
And he had this huge obsession with one of our coworkers to the point where it was, really creepy.
I remember you guys telling me about that. In fact, I think the coworker especially contacted me about that.
Several times, actually.
Yes. It was the point where I had to like be present while that dude was there.
Yes. While he canceled out all his pre-orders and went to the other one.
Yeah.
That's the worst part. Like all these horror stories ended up transferring to the other GameStop.
Well, yeah. Well, that's their problem now.
Yeah, thankfully. I don't go with them anymore. I think I've seen the Stubbs. I think I've seen him like twice since I left there,
Yeah.
and that was back in 2013.
I don't even think that GameStop has the same crew. I don't think anyone works there. Wasn't anyone that used to work there when you were there?
One guy was before I was there.
Oh, okay.
Literally the other Ian.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, go figure. You know, you have one town and suddenly there's like 5 Ians in that one spot, and they all congregate in one area.
So, all right, I guess we'll end the segment there. This was horror stories of a former GameStop employee. And
Yeah.
is there anything you'd like to say at the end of this?
Just, you know, if you're going out, make yourself presentable, at least a little bit.
Deodorant goes a long way.
Axe. I swear to God, I will carry that more than I would ever carry mace.
All right, guys, thanks for listening.